Hey, Shalom, Makim, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Merchakwadash. Once again, I want to say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Merchakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's still teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying to you Akim and you Aquat that listen. And man, we're living in some exciting times, man. All right, we're living in some very, very exciting, very, very heavy times, man. And you know, as we see what's going on the planet Earth right now, the uproars of the people, all right, the FFs, the false Fs, I'll just say, going on right now, which they're scheming and planning for another major event, I'd rather just say, that's going to have them institute more draconian laws, draconian measures, and then ultimately, the MOTB, which is the Seahib being pushed on the planet Earth. All right, whereas they're going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. All right, ultimately, at the end of that, World War III is going to commence, because World War III is not going to happen unless the charagma is fully instituted. All right, you're not going to have World War III and nuclear missiles being shot off, Babylon getting hit with nukes, and then they're going to push for the charagma. That's not going to happen. All right, the infrastructure of the MOTB system has to be implemented before all hell breaks loose and, the missiles get shot from these various different nations, Russia, China, Iran. All right, whereas Babylon the Great, which is America, will be completely pelted with thermonuclear missiles, as well as the land of Israel today. And various different parts of the earth will be getting hit, but in the sense of complete and utter annihilation, it's going to be here in America. Now, what you see here from RT.com, it says Russia suspends the last nuclear treaty with U.S. Okay, and that's very, very big news. Let's read that again. Russia suspends last nuclear treaty with U.S. Okay, because according to prophecy, all right, Russia, all right, is going to be one of the key catalysts that the Lord is going to use. Let me actually get Revelation 20. Russia is going to be a key catalyst and key player in the grand scheme of things that the Lord is going to use to implement and shoot missiles, man. Now, when you read in, I almost said Russia chapter 20. When you read in Revelation chapter 20, all right, it says, let me go down to the point here. Revelation chapter 20, verse 7, it says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, and that 1,000 years is going into the time when Esau was pretty much, when Esau was pretty much locked up, in a sense. Now, when I say locked up, what I mean is that he didn't have power. All right, roughly from the time of roughly around 325 AD, going into the early, to the mid to late 1300s. All right, going into the 1400s and the Renaissance period, that's when Esau came back into power. All right, you had the likes of the Borgias coming in on the scene. All right, through his Renaissance art and the healing, if you will, of the ancient Roman Empire. All right, which is what we see today. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, which the Lord allowed him to be loosed, right? And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. All right, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, which have made all the earth drunken. And all you have is Esau's lies and his deceptive tricks that he plays throughout the world, going on worldwide. And now his lies are being revealed, right? It says, it shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, which Gog and Magog now, all right, when you look at an ancient map, it resided within the land of what you have today in Russia, right? Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So all this is happening to gather together Russia for battle. And Russia's going to have key allies, just as America has allies, its NATO nations and its EU, these different NATO and EU nations. Russia Russia has key allies, the BRICS nations, as well as particular players that are part of NATO. Like, for example, Turkey. Turkey is a key NATO ally, man. But who has been selling them S-300, S-400, S-500 missile defense systems? Russia. And then according to prophecy, NATO and the EU are going to turn on America, man. To whereas the 10 horns are going to hate the whore and burn her ass with fire, man. Which is talking about America. You see? So Russia suspends last nuclear treaty with the U.S. is prophecy coming to pass, man. That goes forth to show us how close we truly are. You see? We're banking on all hell to break loose, man. We want all hell to break loose so that the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah can be established. You see? It says Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced the country's temporary withdrawal from the New START treaty. Moscow is suspending its participation in the last remaining nuclear treaty between Russia and the U.S. President Vladimir Putin has announced. So he's suspending the treaty. Because with this treaty that they had, it pretty much prompted them to state that, look, we agree to not use in the form of war. We agree not to use any nuclear missiles, because they understand and know that with that happening, all hell will break loose, as the scripture says in Isaiah 9. Let's get that. Isaiah the 9th chapter. Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this next world's war is not going to be fought like how it was in the ancient world. It's not going to be close combat. You ain't going to have, people with battalions at the end of their gun, gumming up and stabbing you and, face-to-face combat. No, it's going to be knowledge increased. So with knowledge increasing, technology is increasing. Now it's going to be drones, tanks, missiles coming out of submarines, aircraft, helicopters, radar guided missiles, and then ultimately the ICBM, which is short for intercontinental ballistic missiles, which means that they can fly from continent to continent in a matter of minutes, man. Which is all the Lord. Okay, the Lord put the spirit upon these different individuals to make and to come up with these nuclear fission and these missiles for His purpose. It says during his key address to the Russian parliament on Tuesday, he noted that Moscow would not exit the New START treaty, but is temporarily withdrawing. You see that? So he's not exiting the treaty, but he's temporarily withdrawing himself. And you got to ask why. Well, we can give you the answer as to why. Proverbs 21:1. All right, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So the king's heart is talking about the king's mind. You see, everybody's going to fulfill the will of the Lord, whether they like it or not. There's actually another one in Proverbs 19. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. Proverbs 19:21. It says there are many devices in a man's heart. So there's many devices. Let's get that word devices. And it always happens, man. Lately, it's been doing that. When I'm doing a lesson, it just stops the connection. Even though I got all bars, as you see at the top right, the connection just starts acting all crazy. Let's try it again. All right, this word devices in the Hebrew is ma chashaba. The root word is chashab, ma chashaba. All right, there's many devices in a man's heart, which devices goes back to device, plan, purpose. So there's many plans that a man has in his mind. There's many purposes that a man has in his mind, right? Here we go again. Salaki Akim. Let me maybe close it out and reopen it and see if that works. So it says there are many devices in a man's heart. So in your heart is your mind, right? Nevertheless, the counsel of Yahweh, that shall stand. You see, so the counsel of the Lord is what's going to stand at the end of the day. So, a Russian president, Vladimir Putin, woke up this morning, and the Lord put it in his mind that when he was asleep, when he read Job 33, he woke up this morning, he had this meeting, this conference, and the Lord put it upon his mind and the spirit to make the decisions to temporarily withdraw himself from the New START treaty. As we're seeing here, it says, but it's temporarily withdrawing. Explaining the decision, Putin stated that the agreement was initially drawn up under completely different circumstances, when Russia and the U.S. did not perceive each other as adversaries. So the treaty was originally written when tensions wasn't high. But now the tensions are high, because now, according to prophecy, what's happening is that Russia is getting drawn back into that USSR mindset. Okay? This is Ezekiel 38, verse 1. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince which of Meshach and Tubal, which Apostle Tahar brought this out, that Russia really means also too in the Hebrew, or Asha, which means chief prince, and prophesy against him, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. I will turn thee back. The Lord said, look, I'm going to turn you back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, which goes into all their military might, man. You see, because Russia has a very, very vast military, man. They have technology that the Lord has been putting upon them to create hypersonic missiles that break the sound barrier, missiles that can travel, way faster than any kind of defense. You see, it says, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, and the swords represents it's just a killing instrument, man. Are they going to have physical swords in their hands? No, but it's talking about their guns, their military, their tanks, their helicopters, submarines, their missiles, their defense systems. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, okay, which you can look on a map right now and find where Ethiopia is, and it's in Africa, right? Ethiopia, and Libya with them, which is Northern Africa, right? All of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the North Quarters. And I want to say Togarmah. Let's actually look up. I forgot what the connection. All of a sudden, it just started acting crazy. That word Togarmah is Tagarmah or Tagarmah, probably the area known as Armenia. Which Armenia, when you look that up, that area is in the it's in the area of where Turkey is, like Asia Minor in a sense. You see, it says it is part of the Caucasus region and is bordered by Turkey to the west. That region. Okay, so it says Togarmah, the house of Togarmah in the North Quarters, and all his bands, which means armies. All right, I'm about to park my car here, so just bear with me. It says, and many people with thee. You see? So the Lord is putting the spirit upon them to gather themselves together for what? For war. Okay? World War III. World War III is necessary for prophecy's sake, man. Okay? Let me go back to this article real quick. Let me actually come over here and park real fast. Just bear with me, Baba Kasha. I'm pulling up to a place now, or a spot now, I'd rather say, to park my car. This bugged out ass stuff going on, man. Fucking moles, man. All right. Now. Okay, here we go. All right, so now it says, now, however, according to the president, and I'm right here in the middle of the second paragraph. Now, however, according to the president, not only is the U.S. issuing ultimatums to Russia, right, but NATO itself has essentially made an application to become part of the treaty as well. Let's read that last part again. But NATO itself has essentially made an application to become part of the treaty as well. So NATO is short for what? The North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Okay, because it was initially between the U.S. and Russia. All right, strictly between the whore and Gog and Magog, but now NATO, which is the beast, a part of the beast system, which America really is the head of NATO. You know, they want to be a part of the application as well. It says the bloc members are now demanding an inspection of Russia's strategic facilities, Putin said, noting that Moscow's requests to inspect Western nuclear facilities under the treaty are systematically denied with only formal explanations for the rejection. So now pretty much they're telling Russia, look, we gotta inspect what you got. But when Russia comes with the same narrative to inspect the West, they don't allow that to happen. You see? So now they want to ask to inspect things because, you know, things are starting to heat up. You know, it says Putin noted that the U.S. has continued to insist on maintaining hegemony, while its NATO partners openly admit that they want to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia. Because even throughout all this, NATO and the EU is going to turn on America. Let's read this last paragraph again. Putin noted that the U.S. has continued to insist on maintaining hegemony, right? The U.S., the whore that rides upon the beast. You see, that's what lines up with he had to look more stout than his fellows. All right, Daniel chapter 7, verse 20. Daniel 7 and 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which the fourth beast is the Roman Empire, which was diverse from all the others. Salakia, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails as brass, which goes really to his military might, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Mind you, this is talking about the Roman Empire. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, which were the 10 common markets at that time, right? Which are now these EU nations, and of the other which came up, so this other horn, which is America, and before whom 3 fell, which was the Spanish, the French, the French, the Spanish, and the British, right? Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And that stoutness goes into a sense of pretty much being proud, you know, pretty much being boastful. You see, and that's talking about that other horn that came up is talking about America, man. You know, which is of the 7. And you can read that in Revelation, the 17th chapter. You know? And once again, let me maybe just try to turn the Wi-Fi off. Maybe that might work. Even though I got a full connection. It was just working fine. It was just working fine at home. You know, but as soon as I get ready to do the lesson and start, you know, acting up, which is kind of annoying. But that word stout is rob, all right? In the Hebrew is rob, which means great, figurative of power, you see? So figurative of its power, chief or captain. You see, and that's talking about America. While its NATO partners, the rest of the beast system, right, openly admit that they want to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia. Russia cannot ignore this. We cannot allow ourselves to ignore this, he said. You see, because, you know, you have these people that's talking about, you know, Russian aggression. Oh, we got to stop Russian aggression. You know, we got to stop the Russian aggression on the borders, where here it is. NATO's the one that's expanding. NATO is the one that's expanding further east towards the western borders of Russia, trying to get Ukraine to join into NATO. And that's when Russia pretty much stood up like, man, hell nah. which really Ukraine is a part of the USSR. You know? It's like having your enemy right at your back door, scoping out the scene. Here it is. You got your ops building a house behind you. And every single day you just see them, gathering up guns, ammunition, scoping you out, scoping out the scene every single day. Eventually and this is your ops, man. Eventually you gonna pull up on your ops and take him out before he take you out. Of course I'm speaking in the sense of, not carnally, but I'm just making an analogy, right? So it says, before we return to discussing this agreement, we must understand for ourselves what the intentions of countries like France and the UK are, and how we will consider their strategic arsenals as well, which is the cumulative striking potential of NATO. The New START Treaty was originally signed in 2010 by then Presidents Barack Obama and Dmitry Medvedev, and aimed to cut in half the number of strategic nuclear missile launchers deployed around the world. So it was pretty much a treaty to cut down on their nuclear power for both parties, right? Under the treaty, both countries were supposed to allow the other side a limited number of inspections per year to verify compliance with the agreement, right? Let's read that again. Under the treaty, the New START Treaty, both countries were supposed to allow the other side a limited number of inspections per year to verify compliance with the agreement. So pretty much both countries had the ability to go in and inspect each other to see if they were matching the agreement to how many nuclear missiles they had, a nuclear cable, pretty much how much nuclear power they had, right? Unless extended, the treaty was set to expire in 2026. You see that? So unless it was extended, it was set to expire. But here it is. Vladimir Putin temporarily withdrew himself from the treaty. He temporarily withdrew himself from the treaty. So you got to ask yourself, why? Because biblical prophecies coming to pass. All hell's getting ready to break loose. World War III is right around the corner, man. Okay? And this is what we're talking about. All right? Let's grab a few more precepts and I'm gonna end it off. I didn't want this to be too long. I just want to hit the points. Isaiah 13, verse 17, it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them," which the Medes is talking about today. This prophecy here is talking about Russia, because when you look into the land of the Medes, where the Medes were located, it's in the land of Russia today. "Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." Talking about you pretty much ain't gonna be able to pay these, you ain't gonna be able to pay them off, you ain't gonna be able to ransom yourself out of this. "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have," and this is how you notice it's talking about a missile. Ain't no bow and arrow gonna dash you to pieces. Ain't no bow and arrow, ain't no bow and arrow gonna be shot that's gonna completely burn up a place, right? "And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb." You see that? So that's talking about children and women who are pregnant. "Their eyes shall not spare children. As in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms," and this Babylon here is talking about America, "the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." Letting you know that this is a future prophecy. How was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? It was destroyed by fire and brimstone. What was known in Sodom? Bestiality is secondly, but sodomy, morality, all kinds of freakism. You see, "It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation." You see, so when the Lord is completely done with Babylon the Great, you're going to know that it's a destruction from on high. "Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there." You see? And you can read this, you can line this up with Isaiah 34, Isaiah 24, Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, Revelation 18, Joel the 3rd chapter, part of Joel the 2nd chapter. Zephaniah, the first chapter. You know, many more prophecies, man. Isaiah 21. You know, hey, the prophets we read part of Ezekiel 38. You know, all the prophets pretty much seen the same things, just in a different way. You know, so hey, we're right around the corner, man. This is big news, and you know, Lord's will, tensions will continually increase at this point. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and others, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Much peace, love, and salutation to the elect of Yasher Allah. Shalom.